Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining day 2 training, Salesforce Marketing Cloud Developer languages. If you have any questions from the previous session, that is from day 1, you can question me here and it will be saved and uploaded into the Marketing Cloud, that is the YouTube channel also. The topic session is being clearly mentioned. Today, the topic is to display data from a data extension, or you can call it as an SQL table, into Marketing Cloud page, which is also termed as web page, using the language AMPscript. Functions which we need for this is Lookuprows, Rowcount, row, field, and we need conditional statement, if, else. We might need loop or iterator. Many authors call with many names, which is for loop. We need this. Okay, makes sense? All the documentations also will be shared there. So if you have questions, you can question me on this from the previous session. Topics which is covered today, you can watch the video and come back with the questions for tomorrow. So now it's your turn. Anyone has any questions, you can ask me here. If you have no questions, we are good to start the session for today. Any questions? Anyone has any questions? No, you can send it over the chat window also. If everything looks good, that's fine. We can start the session for today. If you need more time to get through these things, we can do it tomorrow also. That's fine. So I think there are no questions. If there are no questions, so let me begin our day 2 training. Good. So let me give you the complete background of this. As you people know, we don't have the Salesforce Marketing Cloud account to share it, but I'll try to picturize as much as possible to the best of my knowledge. Let's take a data extension first. Assume that we have a data extension, which is nothing but an SQL table. And the table has these informations. The table name, let me call this table name as master underscore data. And this table has first name, email, that is the field. I'll go with one boolean value. I'll call it as very simple table. These are the only 3 fields which is present in this master data extension. Remember this, which is very much required and important. So now let's assume that we have more than one record in this table. I'll go with the name A, B, C, D, and E. There are 5 records. Let us go with one more, 6, out of which 4 have true as its value, and 2 of them have false as its value. Email address, assume that it is a@gmail.com, b@gmail.com, and it goes on. a@gmail.com, b@gmail.com, c@gmail.com, and more. This is the existing data in the Salesforce Marketing Cloud data extension. I'm taking only the fields which is relevant to this training session. So you might have more than that. Good. Thank you. So you should assume the remaining email addresses. We want to display this information. We want to display this information on the cloud page using the language AMPscript, and if necessarily we need the HTML also. So let me take the screenshot of this and I'll save it so that we can refer it later. Okay, let me take it. Okay, I'll keep it safe here first. Now, I want to display that information in the landing page. So I need to specify those informations. Okay, so this is my code. Let me save it on the desktop. So I'll call it as SQL developer day 2 training. This is my master data D. I'll try to share these files also down the line. So for this particular table, we are planning to display the information on the cloud page. How do we do it? So let me explain the first scenario. I want to display one record from the data extension based on email address. So if that email address is existing, it should display the data. If it is not existing, it should specify that the email address doesn't exist. So now I'll be using these functions, and if you want to read the documentation, even that will be collected. It is there in developer.salesforce.com. Okay, perfect. Now the first scenario, display one record from data extension based on email address. Based on email address. So I'll start writing my AMPscript code, display data. Okay, this is the name which I've given, AMPscript. You should type the basic syntax of it. What is the basic syntax? Double percentage, square bracket, double percentage. And I need to have some variables declared, which is optional. Where is a keyword, at the names what you want. I'll go with the name email. That's it. I want to set some value. Set at email variable is equal to double quotes, which is a@a.com. Sorry, gmail.com. This is our data. So now we need to be taking this dynamically. That is the future programs. For now, concentrate on the table. And if this variable, it can be anything. It can be X, it can be Y. It's not always it should be mapping your field name. Make sense? So if I take X, this line is optional. Along with this, I want to have a clear commenting. How to comment it? / variable declaration in AMPscript. / If you want to have a single line comment or multi-line, this is how you'll do it. Let me place a multi-line comment, / enter. Let me copy paste this part or both of them for now. This is how you comment in AMPscript. This is very important. What is commenting? A code or an information which is kept in your executable code, which is not considered for execution. Good. So now, having understood with this one, very important, start commenting each line if possible, which is good for the one who picks your code later. As I mentioned, how many functions do I need? I need all these functions. I need if else, I need loop. So we'll try to compare with lookuprows and lookup ordered rows in the upcoming sessions. Now, I need a variable which holds the result of lookuprows is equal to lookuprows function, which will take 3 parameters. The question is, what is parameter, Chandra? If you're not aware with that, so let me explain you the parameters quickly. Parameter, every function needs some input, and the executed one will give you a result. So this is the function. Result is always stored in this. Okay, this is how the programming works. Any programming language. On the right hand side, the function is requesting for data extension name, the field name to check the value, and the next one is value itself. So this is the basic syntax. So let me comment it so that it is easy when I share this file with you. Now the actual execution. Let me copy this line. What is the data extension name? It is master data, correct? It is master underscore data. Which field we are trying to check, it's the email. What is the value we want to check? It is a@gmail.com. This is hard coding. This is hard coding, but I want to check coming from a variable, that is @x. And what is the use of this email? It is just declared, but we never used it. That's fine. This will result. What will be the result stored here? Let me explain that in detail. So now I'll be taking a different color. I'll go with blue. The result is this one. This entire one will come into picture, which will be stored in rows concept. So this is the result of it. This is the result of it. If it is not present, then obviously the answer is 0. Blue line is representing the result of Lookuprows. I'll explain more when we have the next example. Okay. Now, let us continue the coding. Lookuprows is done. So I need to count the number of rows coming out. At R count, that is the result count. If you want to have a detailed name, that would be great actually. Result count is equal to row count function. You should pass the previous result. Now, this will tell that there is one row coming out. Based on that, you should display the data. I'll explain more. So first row is trying to get the result. Second one is, it might be 0 also, right? It might be 0 also. So we need to check that using if, then, else, and if. This is the basic syntax of AMPscript conditional statement. Now, if, then, this should be checked because it has the count. If the result count is greater than or equal to 1, you can check it with 0 based on your condition. So if the result count is greater than or equal to 1, means it has some value, means that blue line. If it is not, then obviously I need to have one more result here. Set at message, no records found. If it is there, I want to say that records found. That's it. Very simple. Is this enough? Yes, it is enough if you want to just see whether it is present or not. But if you want to display that information, we need the remaining functions, which is the row and the field. I'll come back to this loop when we go with example B. Good with this? Hope everyone is fine till now. Awesome. Now I want to display that if it is present. Set the variables as and when it is required. This is my AMPscript. So result count, set message, record found. Now I'll explain you the remaining. I want the data, exact row. I'll take it as row data is equal to the function row. This needs two parameters, the result and the row count. That is 1. Because we have only one row, I know that. That is the blue line, because we're checking exactly to a specific email address. So let's go with that 1. But in future, it might be changed to at I. What is I? I is the index. So for now, let's go with 1. This will get exactly that row, and we need to pull each information. We need, Shankar, you are not supposed to control that. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Now, you want to pull the first name, the email, the last name. That is the available thing. First name, email, available. These are the 3 exact field names. You need to pick one at a time. So how do you pick it? It's very simple. From this row data, you need to pick each one of them. At A, whatever you want to, you have to pick that field from the result, that is the row. I want to pick the row data comma the field name, exact field name. Many a times developers use the same name as a variable here. That is what even I suggest. I need to repeat this 2 more times to get the email. Obviously, we know the email which we are checking and the available. Okay. And each one should have a different name, totally different from the previous examples. So we have taken email, X, result count. From the result count, we are checking the row data A, B, C. This is a very simple example. How do you display this? How do you display this in HTML? Very simple. We learned it yesterday in the previous session. H1 tag, first name if you want to, or very simple, double percentage, double equals, double percentage. With the function we specify the variable X. Sorry, at A, and all the necessary styling, CSS, because I'm not concentrating on that one at this point of time. Good. But what if we have more than one record to display and we want to beautify it? We'll take that one also. This is display data 1. We have used Lookuprows to check the data extension name. This is the basic syntax for your reference. And this is what it is. This is the scenario 1. We need to pick the scenario 2. Let me copy this and save it as display data 2.html when we have multiple records. I'll pause this for 2 minutes because I want to have some additional inputs for you people. Thank you. So as we discussed from the previous one, A is done. So let's move on to more than one record. This is very, very challenging in many cases. How do we get more than one record? You have to have fields like city, gender, the boolean value, what I'm giving as an example now. These are the best examples when you get more than one record. Email is most of the time is one record. So when we have this more than one record, how do we display it? So that's the next example which I'm explaining with the same table. Well, I'll take the values. It might be random. For now, I'm taking it in series because it will be easy for me to explain and for you people to understand it. So let me code it first. The Lookuprows, which is present here, now it will try to find a value true. When you want to represent a boolean value, okay, preferably try to type it in double quotes, preferably true. Spelling, if it is correct, that's more than enough. So now it's the same thing, but the field is different now. Let me change it. Now what we get is more than one for sure. More than one for sure. Now we need to write a loop and we need to embed this within the AMPscript. First, let me write the code. I'll just records found, that's fine. The row data. Now I cannot go with this value 1 because it's more than one record. So this piece of code is replaced. Let me cut this. Now I need to write a for loop. For do next. This is the basic. For the variable, because I need to iterate one record at a time. For I or any other variable, let me go with index is equal to 1 to till when the count is given by result count. We can reduce the code also by writing those functions within this, but for now we'll take each variable. Within this, I need to have this code, but it would be great if I'm having more index. to know which code aligns. Okay. Next of what? Next of at index. It always starts from 1. This is not, there is no array concept. If you people come from a programming background, you might be thinking this is an array. No, this is a collection. If you come from a Java or .NET background, you might be using that collections concept. This is collection. This is not an array. That's the reason it starts from the index 1. And 1 will be replaced by index. So what is the result of this? So let me explain here with the blue line. So when we check for this particular variable in the lookup rows, it will result in this. Now we need to understand that this is a collection. 1, this is the second row, this is the third row, and the fourth one. So it might be not exactly the order, but manage with this. So blue line, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It iterates for 4 times. Okay. That is the loop. That is the job of the loop. Each time, let me take the other color now. Each time it will pull this row based on the number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. But I want to display it, right? Means there should be an HTML surrounding it. So how do we make it happen? This piece of code which is getting displayed should be embedded. This one. This has to be embedded. I cannot keep it away or out of AMPscript. This is AMPscript start. This is the end of the AMPscript. I cannot keep it here. If I keep it here, what will happen? This is very interesting. If you keep it out, you will see only the 4th record. Only the 4th record. Why? Because A, B, C are getting updated. Before it goes to the next index from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, we need to place this piece of code here before the next one. But this is not AMPscript. So close your AMPscript and open the AMPscript here. This is very tricky. You have to practice this. When you practice this, you'll get to this. That's it. Every time it picks it and every time it starts displaying, we can have an additional formatting of table, syntaxing, many things. Okay. Make sense? So display 1, display 2. So with this, the agenda for today is accomplished. So if you change it to false, then you will get 2 records. If it is this, it will be having this result. So anything which has been marked. So have a practice of this. Do watch out for the additional things. So if you people have any questions, you can question me at this point of time. I would request you people to go back, watch the video again and check it out. So before we end the training, I would like to recap all the things, what we did. The recap is this: display of 1 record based on this information. So we have used if else, we have used loop and many other informations which has been specified. But reading the documentation is very important. That is Lookuprows, AMPscript, developer.salesforce.com. I would like to show you people the documentation. Here is the documentation of it. And I would like to highlight some of the points here before we end the training for today. So lookup rows. And if you observe a keyword here, which is known as a function. Let me scroll down slowly. Yeah. Data extension lookup rows. This is what we have discussed. We discussed about row count. In the previous session, we discussed about observe. And last but not the least, if you go into syntax guide, you have function calls. This is a function. Whenever you see this round bracket in any language, C, C++, Java, C#, JavaScript, all these are the functions which are defined. Then what you are doing is you are calling it by passing the right information to it. String, string, and string. When it says string, it should be in double quotes, directly or indirectly. And it is requesting for the data extension from which the specified rows come out, the column name, and the value what you want to match. That's what I have defined it in the commenting. Exactly same way, you can just go ahead with the remaining documentation also. Hope you are good here. So with this, I'll be my three. You're not supposed to do it. Thank you very much for being a part of this training. So this will be uploaded. And if you have any questions, you can question me after stopping this recording. Once again, thank you.